All right, good afternoon, folks, or good morning, depending on when you are watching this. Today we are going to talk about Unit 4, Lesson 2, and our goal here is to understand what the distributive property is. We're going to look at the last of the properties that we talked about when we were talking through our last lesson, distributive property. And that's the one that we kind of skipped over just because we want to spend a little bit more time understanding the distributive property. Here's our example here, kind of our rule. When we work with the distributive property, what we want to do is we want to take the number on the outside and distribute or evenly give to all of the numbers or terms on the inside of the parentheses. So how this looks is that I want to give this A to the B, and I want to give this A to the C. And we do that through multiplication. So what it looks like is A times B plus A times C. And we can do that with numbers as well to just show you. What if we use 4 times 2 plus 3? Well, we could think of this just like a normal problem working with PEMDAS. 4 times 5, which equals 20. And let's put that in our back pocket for a second. And let's talk about using distribution. We want to distribute this 4 to both the 2 and distribute the 4 to the 3. So we end up with 4 times 2 plus 4 times 3. And then we can simplify. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 4 times 3, which is 12. And if I add both of those together, 8 plus 12, I get 20. So I know that that's kind of a longer process than just doing this one here, but this kind of just explains what our concept is. And when we start working with variables, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and you cannot do this version. Let's look at a little bit here, some definitions here about the distributive property. What you want to do is multiply each term in the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. Again, well, I could just do this easily. 4 times 6 plus 2. I could do 4 times, well, 6 plus 2 is 8, which is 24. Let's do it with distribution. We're going to multiply the number outside the parentheses to the number inside. 4 times 6 plus 4 times 2. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8. Oops, sorry, this wasn't 24. What am I doing over here? That's 32. And 24 plus 8 is 32, just like we did over here. Sorry, I was thinking ahead and trying to jump to this problem. 4 times 8 is 32. And both of these answers are the same. Again, obviously, much quicker just to do that, but we're trying to get through the process of understanding distribution. Let's do this one. Well, we could do this as 8 times negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5, which equals negative 40. Let's do it with distribution. We're going to do 8 times negative 9 and 8 times 4. Well, 8 times negative 9 is negative 72. 8 times 4 is 32. Negative 72 plus 32 equals negative 40. Same answers. Well, let's look down here a little bit. When we talk about multiplying terms, the outside term by the ones on the inside, we can identify our terms. Well, our outside term is 7. Our inside terms are 10 and negative 5. So you're going to multiply this by all of these terms. So let's kind of do that. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. And 70 minus 35 equals 35. And I can show you that here. 7 times 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 times 5 is 35. And that's just our numbers. Let's look at ones with terms that are variables, or at least one term that is a variable. Terms are 4, x, and 7. So if we wanted to do our distribution, we're going to do 4 times x, and then we're going to do 4 times 7. So 4 times x is just 4x. Let's just write that right away. 4 times 7 is our next one. And to simplify, we're going to write 4x plus, and 4 times 7 is 28. And that's it. We can't combine terms that don't have the same variable with addition. 4x plus 28 just stays as 4x plus 28. And that's it. Let's look at our next one. -2 is a term, x is a term, and -8 is a term. Well, we're going to do -2 times x and -2 times -8. We're going to include that negative sign as part of our term. So we're going to get -2x plus -2 times -8. Well, -2x stays the same. -2 times -8 is 16. And we're done. Well, what about this one where we have just a little bit different? We're going to have 2 variables in it. Does that change how we do the process? Well, of course not. It makes it the same. We just use 2 different variables. We're going to multiply 5 times -3x and 5 times 7y. 5 times -3x plus 5 times 7y. And to simplify, we get -15x plus 35y. And you're done. Can't combine x's and y's through addition. They remain separate terms. Our last 2 problems here. Now we have a fraction. Again, don't get scared by fractions. It is just multiplication. If you need extra help, always grab a calculator. 1/3 x, 1/3 times x, plus 1/3 times -6. Well, 1/3 x, I'm just going to write it as x over 3. It's the same thing. Minus, because I'm going to have a negative, well, let's do it this way. Let's do plus -6 over 3. And then we can simplify. We're going to get x over 3 plus minus is just going to be minus, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. You could also write this as 1/3 x minus 2. Both of them are okay. Both the same answer. I just like to write it this way. And last but not least, make sure that this doesn't scare you. If it does, rewrite it. -3 times 8 plus 11. And then we distribute. -3 times 8, -3 times 11. -3 times 8 plus -3 times 11. -3 times 8 is -24, plus -3 times 11 is -33, which is -24 minus 33, which we can do, and that's -57. And you're done. And that's it for the distributive property. I know that it can be a little bit scary and a little bit intimidating, but all you're doing is you're distributing the number outside of the parentheses to both of the terms on the inside. If you have any questions, folks, just reach out. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.